Okay guys, so today I'm going to show you how to turn any bad strategy, any losing strategy into a winning one. This works, trust me, this is such a fantastic thing that you can all do, okay? No matter your ability, no matter where you're at with your Betfair trading. If you've got a losing strategy, if you've got a strategy that's losing money hand over fist, I will turn it into a winner, and here is how. So first off, I'm going to take you to one strategy that I've been testing. So I'm just going to click the layaway testing strategy I've got here. I'm going to come over here. Now, as you can see, I've got a layaway team strategy here that's been doing really well. Obviously, this doesn't need any work. What I'm going to look at now is a strategy I developed that's very similar, but it's laying the home team. Something I've always found very difficult to make money on. But I thought this might work because it works with lay the away, so I've been testing it. Now, as you can see, it's £294 down to £10 lay stakes, right? This is laying the home team. 12% ROI down, which is huge. And we're not doing particularly well here. It's had 112 selections. Now, to actually do what we're going to do long term, I would like more selections before I decide to do this. But this isn't very far off being a strategy where I think this is a bad strategy. This is not working well. It would take a hell of a turnaround from this point to actually even get it back to zero. Now, what's interesting here is that a lot of people in this position at this moment would go either, I'll keep testing for a little while, but you know, what's the point? It's very unlikely it's going to get back to even money at any point. Or they would just go, right, that's it. The strategy doesn't work. Throw it out. How many times have you done that? Right? Answer me in the comments. If you're someone who's thrown out a really bad strategy and just gone, right, that's it, it's bad. Guys, I hate to break this to you. You've made a big mistake. A big, big mistake. The fact is, this strategy is brilliant. Because it's losing so badly, it's a brilliant strategy, and here's why. All I need to do is back the home team. Think about it. All I need to do on this strategy is back the home team, and it will reverse course considerably. Now I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you how that works, and then we'll actually look at the difference between the strategy as a lay strategy and then the strategy as a backing strategy. Okay, so like I say, this is what you want to do. If you've got a really, really bad strategy, do the opposite. I don't know if you've ever seen that Seinfeld clip with George where he does the opposite. You know, his life's been going really bad. He does the opposite and suddenly his life goes really well. Now that is something, go and watch that on a clip or something after this video, because that is something that I advise doing with these strategies. And it's counterintuitive. You don't feel like you should do it. You're like, you see a strategy like this, you go, oh no, it's losing, I'm gonna throw it out. But trust me, that is a big mistake. You are throwing away potential profit, and actually you should celebrate. When you get a strategy that's this bad, you should celebrate, because you flip the market, it will be profitable, okay? Now, to do that, the first thing we're gonna need to do, obviously, is instead of laying, we're gonna back. Now, one thing we need to remember is that when you're backing, you will be backing at a slightly shorter price. So let's say we're laying the odds of 3.3. I'll get Betfair up for this, so it'll be a bit easier to understand. Okay, so we've gone to Betfair here, and this will make it a little bit easier to understand. So remember, this was a lay strategy. So let's say if we were laying the draw here. Now we would record the odds of 3.5, right, for this selection, because if we were to lay now, we'd be laying at 3.5. However, if we're backing, which is what we're going to look to do, we'd actually be backing at 3.45. So the odds have come in what we like to call one tick, which just means one slight price movement, okay? So what I'm going to have to do on this strategy is move the odds into different territory in terms of, so let's say I was laying at 3.3. Well, we know that if we were backing in that same market, one tick coming in from 3.3 is 3.25, okay? So I would then just change this selection to odds of 3.25 for backing, okay? I'm going to leave that as 3.3. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to copy the sheet. So just Control A, and let's just create a new sheet here. Control C on that data, of course. And then we just want to Control V to paste it over. How easy was that? Now we've actually got the strategy in a nutshell here. I'm just going to lock the first 2 rows because I like doing that so I don't lose sight. And then bam. Okay, so we've got the strategy copied to another sheet. The reason I do this is that you're not going to lose any of your other data. You know, let's say I start testing this. Well, I might actually find that 100 and whatever selections isn't enough. And it isn't enough. I want more selections before I fully decide whether to switch course with this strategy. But what I can do is, on this sheet, I can now change the odds. So what I go through and do is 3.25 here. I'm not going to do all of these, don't worry. I'll just do it off video. But yeah, look how easy it is to do. If you 5.4, 4.6, 1.47. And that's basically how you're going to work out your back odds. Then what you need to do is work out, obviously, all the wins become losses. That's the other thing. So what you'll be going through and doing is changing this from a 1 to a 0 and then working out, oh, I would have lost. So let's say you're backing, what we'll do is we'll back for £10 stakes here. So you would actually change that to -10. So let's do that for all of these up until the 1.47 game, which I've changed. So that's -10, -10. And then we would have won this one, which would be 4.7 profit. So that will actually be a win. 0, 0. So all of those are losses. So basically what we're doing, so as you can see, I've done it up to game 7. What we're doing is we're just reversing the data that's currently in there. Now that's fairly easy to do. Now, if you didn't want to do, if you find that a bit too confusing, you could always just keep testing on your original sheet and keep laying. Because like I say, if you keep getting this kind of losses and these kind of ROIs, you know that you're gonna make money if you flip it, okay? But I like to see actually, okay, exactly what would have happened. Because of things like commission and stuff like that, it's not going to be exactly, you know, I'm not going to be exactly plus 12% when I reverse this strategy, when I finish doing those selections. But let's do that now. I'm going to reverse it all the way I've done with these first 6 selections here. And I'm going to do it for the other 100 odd. I'm going to do it on video and we'll come back, we'll see the results and we'll see whether the flip was worth it. Okay, so I've gone through it. The results are in. Fantastic. £265 profit to £10 stakes. 26 points up effectively in just over a month. You know, as I say, I want more selections before I go, yeah, this is definitely a flip candidate. Well, it's a candidate, but where I feel like it can definitely be a flip. But to be honest, it's not going to take long until we've got a few hundred selections on this. I mean, I've only been testing this just over a month and we're already at 113 or 112 selections technically. So essentially, one thing you can do is flip. Let's look at the difference, right? Originally, this strategy was 30 points down to £10 stakes. It lost £294, 12% ROI, minus 12% ROI. We flip it, and even taking out into account slightly worse odds and commission, we're still up £263, 26 points up, 11.42% ROI, which anyone who knows anything about trading is a huge, substantial number in terms of return of interest. I mean, put this into context. If you had £1,000 bank and you were betting £10 stakes, which is realistic. I mean, even if you're doing, say, £20 stakes, which, again, wouldn't be particularly risky or anything, just 2% of your bankroll per bet, you know, if you make £20 stakes here, you've made 520 quid. You've actually made 50-odd% of your bankroll from these just in the last month, okay? That's the difference it can make. And let's not forget that most people in this situation going, I'm down £294, this strategy clearly isn't working, I'm just going to scrap it. And I see it time and time again. And I get criticism for mentioning this sometimes. It makes me laugh because it's just like, this works. How do I know this works? Because I used it on a different strategy first. Okay, now, a lot of you guys, if you've been listening a while, you'll know about Thomas's late under 1.5 goals strategy. I'll go show you the strategy here. Now, this has been sent out over the past year or so. It's been in big profit. And the fact is that actually, we send this out in the daily email, and I know that people have been doing really well, and that's fantastic. But what some people might not know, This strategy started out as a backing under 1.5 goal strategy. So probably for the first month or so of testing, it was a back strategy. And then the original creator just said to me, Martin, this does not work for backing. This was his strategy, but he said, look, this isn't working. Let's lay it. So we did. We flipped the strategy, and ever since we've basically had a profitable month pretty much every month. I think there's been like 2 or 3 unprofitable months in like 15, 16 months so far looking into this strategy. So this does work, and as you can see here, this is a strategy that was flipped and then continued to work going forward. Now, back to the original laying the home team strategy. It's definitely a candidate for a flip. I do want more selections, that's for sure. But at this point, I'm pretty sure it's going to be flippable. But the key thing is, I'm not doing anything yet. So what I will do here is I will actually continue to test this as is. And I'll note whether, this trend keeps happening. But also I'll have this one as well. So I'll test the other sheet on the other side and go, okay, I'm going to test it as a lay, but I'm also going to test it as a back. Because at the end of the day, it's the same selections. It's not very difficult for me to do. All I need to do is put the odds in for backing and then track the results, okay? Which I'm already going to be tracking for laying the home. So I'll know the result. It's not that much extra work at all. And it's well worth doing. But like I say, I haven't got enough selections where I would go, well, I want to do this. But it's definitely something to think about. And the one thing I'm sure as hell not going to do, which most of you guys will do, is just throw this strategy away. That is a big mistake. This is how, if you've got a strategy that's losing money hand over fist and you flip it, you will make money. This is such a great idea to making a successful strategy, because most people struggle to actually think of a strategy that's profitable, but it's very easy. I find it a lot easier to find ones that don't make money and then flip them. Alright guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope it all makes sense. One thing I will say is, if you're not sure and you're like, oh, I don't know how to flip a strategy, I don't really understand all the stuff you did, don't worry. One thing you can do here instead is just go, right, I'm just going to start testing it as a backing strategy as well from now on. So don't worry about the previous. You don't really need to, because look, I knew that this was going to be profitable when I flipped it. Significant difference, so let's say 29 points down to 26 points up. That's over 50 point swing, right? That's like a 55 point swing. Okay, that's huge. And that's the thing, isn't it? That is a huge difference, obviously, in profit, a 55 point swing. So I knew it was kind of going to be like that, and you will as well. So what I could do now, instead of doing this new sheet with all the previous data, I could just go, if I didn't want to go through the palaver of changing all the winnings and things like that, just basically reversing everything, I just start a new sheet and go, right, now I'm gonna back home. I'll rename it back home, and I'm just gonna start from there. And I'll start backing instead, and I'll see how it goes moving forward, which again is not a bad idea. Alright guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. This should help you make money, guys. If you've got a losing strategy, please take my advice and try doing this before you throw it away. This can convert if you've got a significantly losing strategy, it will turn into a profitable one. Just do the opposite. Alright guys, hope you have a great week, and most importantly, I hope you make some money trading on Betfair.